Hello. Hello, everyone. How to make sure that, oh my god, I look like I'm on crack. Hello, guys. So, today we're doing a very different video than usual. Normally I do gameplay. Today I actually have a very unique video, very unique opportunity. And so, without further ado, I'm reviewing the AIM1 Shigure. It is a Japanese mouse. I am unironically the only person, the only English speaking review that I could find. I looked online for like 2 months to find any English speaking reviews, and the best I could get was an auto translated Japanese video because it's a Japanese mouse. It's a Japanese mouse. There's no English reviews. Like, this is literally the only English review. You guys are in for a treat. Now, I've never done a mouse review before. Well, I've made one, but I never uploaded it because honestly, that mouse was so terrible that I didn't even want to give it a review. But this mouse right here, actually, even if I don't like the shape personally, I have so much respect for this mouse. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So, AIM1 Shigure. Currently I'm using a Sora V2. My main is usually a HitScan Hyperlight or a Final Mouse Medium. But there's a certain reason that I want to use the AIM1 Shigure. So let me expand a bit of context. I play TAC FPS games and I aim train a lot. I want a mouse with a good hump. Oh my god, my mouse pad is so dirty. I want a mouse with a high hump, like a ZA13 or an Inca, but I tried both. My main issue with both of those was the very back of the hump compared to this one. This one is sloped in a way where it's still facing upwards. The ZA13 Inca slopes very straight down. The Shigure has the same high end slope, high slope in the middle of the mouse, except the back is much less steep and still kind of faces upwards, similarly to the HitScan Hyperlight or the Sora V2. So for me, this seems like a perfect mixture of a Z13 and a different, like a Hyperlight, right? And I like the big hump for the stability, but man, do I not like that steepness because it frankly cramps my wrist and hurts my palm. Also, like when the middle of the mouse and the back of the mouse is not wide, but when it's a little more narrow, kind of like the G305. So another thing that the AIM1 Shigure on paper, according to ELO shapes, is good with. Now, let's start with the box. I have not opened it yet. It's still in its seal. It's upside down. It's a very thin box. Like, if I grab my HitScan Hyperlight box, this is the comparison. It's very narrow. Any big box like a HTX or like a Jewel's mouse, it's wider and it's bigger. But this mouse box is very narrow. It's very sleek. It's very Japanese, generally speaking. I don't really have much else to comment in that regard. It's genuinely pretty good. Ignore those vitamins over there. I love K2 and D3. I'm a strong guy. What can I say? I used to be stronger. Alright, without further ado, let me open this and I'll be right back. Alright, so mouse is unsealed and it opens pretty much like any other modern mouse box. The back, it goes kind of into it. You kind of have to let gravity do its job. And it takes a bit to open, I suppose. I'm not really sure. It's a bit of a pain, but kind of wiggling it open. Very tight box. Not actually an issue for the average person. Oh, goodness me. A lot of things just fell out. Oh, my goodness me. Something like that. Yeah, it was like this. So, first thing we see, high hump, still facing upwards towards the palm. somewhat similarly to the Sora V2, towards the very back, it still faces upwards. The same way it still faces upwards on a Sora V2. So that is exactly what I was looking for in a mouse. I'm going to try it and see how it works physically. Now, the actual mouse comes with skates included. It has a little on switch here, very similar to the HitScan Hyperlight that I don't have out. The mouse skates do come pre-included and attached on. My main gripe with this is simply that you have to take them off and you can't use them again if you want to put on a different mouse skate. That's why I like the Sora V2. I was able to put on Obsidians, but I know if I ever want to, I could just use the stock ones. There's no Obsidians. There's no alternative mouse feet for this mouse. That is another issue I have. I use a glass pad, and I'm getting another glass pad that will very, very strongly benefit from very long time, like long resistant mouse skates. I don't like dot skates because, frankly, they get a bunch of shit stuck in them, and the Sora V2 has full skates, which are Obsidians, and I love that. I hope to see the same with this. Unfortunately, I don't think these are interchangeable yet. I mean, they're obviously not. But regardless, I don't know the quality of the skates. They look like slightly thicker Tiger Ice V2s. I like the sensor ring skate. And frankly, it's pretty clean. Very clean white mouse. Nothing really specifically odd. Honestly, very impressive. The white is nice. It's a matte white. You only have a little bit of branding in the back of the mouse here where it says AIM1. I don't know if it focuses, but, you know, that's basically all you get. So the branding is very clean. Nobody's really going to know what brand it is. Pretty solid. Let's get to the actual shape for a moment, okay? This is what I'm most excited about. This is nice. So, what's nice about this mouse compared to the ZA13 from my experiences, similar hump height, more upward facing back curvature here, similar to the Sora V2, right? The reason this is nice is when it slopes steeply, it'll go to the very back of the palm. If you don't like the very back of your palm going straight up to hold it, like similar to like that, right? Like it would have to be like this, basically, with the back of the palm kind of forced upwards if it's very steep. What that can cause for some people is wrist issues and wrist pain. So that's why I prefer minimal back humps or very slight back humps. I used a Skyrox V8. It felt really bad for me because of that. It was way too steep. Same with the ZA13, the Lamzu Inca. I really wanted to keep the Lamzu Inca, but unfortunately the back just did not work out for me when I used it for longer than an hour. Now, I'm going to experiment with this mouse because, frankly, I can't return it. So I'm going to try it for a while. The second thing I really like, the front. It reminds me of an OP1. So the low button height is very nice because it lets you have finer micro adjustment mouse control with your fingertips, right? It kind of feels more natural. Once higher up, you have a bit of a looser movement. The lower, the nicer it is in terms of actual micro control. So another thing is they're very it has this weird design, which I don't know if it shows well on camera, but the outer ridges are kind of lower than the inner ones in the middle. Normally mice have inner grooves towards the middle. These kind of have outer grooves. It's a little odd, but realistically, when you hold a mouse, your fingers aren't right next to each other. They're kind of out here. So this is actually pretty ergonomic. This is well done, generally speaking, in that regard. It's very straight and flat. I like this because, per se, sometimes when I claw grip, I like to keep my fingers somewhat straight, but I still like to claw grip on the fingers here. So, generally speaking, I'm a fan of this. I keep my fingers curled on the sides, both my thumb and my ring and index, or ring and pinky finger. And then my front one, sometimes I extend a little bit, right, when I'm tracking. So, for me, this is a pretty good shape so far. I like the back hump. it actually doesn't hurt my hand holding it. But it fills it very nicely without being bad at the bottom. See? I don't like having the mouse go all the way till here. I don't like holding it like that. I like having something that fits and narrows down towards the center of my palm, kind of like a pincer grip. That's what the Zowie website basically says about it. So I really like that. I like how it goes down low onto button height. Hold on. I like how it goes down low onto button height. I like how it's flat towards it, kind of like an OP1. And I like how it evens out towards the bottom. So that's what I'll have to say about that. Now with the mouse clicks themselves, if you're buying a mouse for how the mouse click sounds, you're probably buying it for the wrong reason, and this guide is more competitive. It's not going to really fit you. The mouse clicks are fine. They sound fine. There's a bit of post travel if you press down, but you really don't need to. It's not going to hurt the mouse. It's very stable, though. Very strong. It's supposed to be about 47 grams, so if you're going to buy a Lamzu Maya, this is like the claw grip equivalent of it. The scroll wheel is nice. It's very simple. Not very tactile in the feeling. Like, there's no bumps here. It's very smoothened. But it's fine. It's a little low, but this is not necessarily a bad thing. You're not going to accidentally fat finger it. I've never had that happen, but I know some people who tend to play like more like a claw or like a palm grip can sometimes maybe scroll here on accident. But this is not possible because it's a bit lower. So that's nice. The side buttons feel pretty crispy, pretty nice, pretty easy to access, not too annoying. I like it. I would not like, I don't really like these mouse skates on glass, I'm gonna be honest, that's my main critique so far. Otherwise, everything is pretty nice. I don't really have any complaints in terms of the feel. It feels very stable. It feels like a very much attack FPS mouse. I can reach all the buttons easily. The dimensions, I mean, the dimensions come in at 122 length from top angle. 61 width, this is not grip width. Grip width, based off feel, if this is a 61 millimeter grip width, this is probably about a 59 or 60. So slightly more narrow than the Sora V2, but honestly, it's not noticeable, and if you keep your fingers towards the front, it's probably comes in at 61 as advertised. It's 45 grams, give or take, probably can go up to 48, maybe go down to 42, I don't know. Probably depends on the skates as well. I assume this is pre-skates, so with the obsidian dots, if I'm going to use them, it's probably going to feel a lot better. Otherwise, pretty good. The one thing that I find slightly annoying is as a 3395 sensor. The issue with that is on some glass pads, it's not going to do great, and also I think it has a few limited features. But honestly, if you use 2K polling rate, it goes up to, I believe, 8K. This is fine. There's a web software. I don't really know the details of it. I don't speak Japanese. I'm going to have to use Google Translate. That's why I'm glad it's a web-based software. But regardless, it seems pretty fucking good. The shape is very nice. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this looks nice. This genuinely feels very nice. I'm very impressed. Because I used the Lamzu Inca and a ZA13. Both of these mice have a very similar hump shape, but they feel completely different. This feels like an actual claw grip mouse for maximum stability, without having the pain that people get from the ZA13. They're just not that comparable. The only comparable thing is the hump is towards the middle, rather than in the back here, like on the Sora V2. The hump is centered towards the back. On this mouse, it's centered kind of towards the middle. It rests under the knuckle, which is exactly what I like, and my fingers naturally curl right by the mouse scroll, so I can easily scroll if I need to. The side buttons fit right under my thumb. My hands are 17.5 by 10 inches, not inches, centimeters, I apologize. It uses USB-C, I believe. Yep, USB-C standard. Any mouse dongle slash thing like the cable is going to work. If you look in the box again, now that we've analyzed the actual shape, which is probably the best part of the mouse, We have the rest of the packaging. There's this little plastic film. I actually like this. It keeps everything in place, and you can put the mouse in this groove. It's a nice little touch. Irrelevant for most people. There's a set of replacement skates. I'm actually so happy about this because I want to change these, but I was worried I wouldn't be able to put it back in case I tend to like the skates. This is actually really cool. I should have looked into the box first before making comments. Disregard my last comment about mouse skates. This is good shit. Very good for experimentalists. I'm very, good job. Good job, AIM1. Alright, if you look at this little cable, they basically give you instructions. You plug it in, you turn it on, you put the dongle in, whatever. Pretty simple stuff. A bunch of instructions here about the battery. Just charging precautions. If it gets too hot, don't let it fucking explode, and recycle the mouse properly because it has batteries in it. Pretty simple stuff that really shouldn't be explained. The cable is paracord. This is somewhat nice. I prefer the Sora cable, but it's so similar that's not that big of a deal. My main issue is I like lightweight cables on these kind of mice. Not because I used a cable, but because when my dongle goes through the back of my desk, so the heavy cable will drag it down, and I am going to have to use the box to weight down the cable so it doesn't drag back and pull the dongle back. If you look at the actual dongle, it's a nice silicone base, simple dongle. It doesn't have any lights on it. It doesn't really have anything other than the AIM1 logo at the bottom here. Bottom right, yeah. Pretty simple. USB-C cable, only one. What I like about G-Wolves is they have two, one for charging the mouse, one for the dongle, is what it is. Not a big deal. There's nothing else in the box. This thing does budge, but there's nothing behind it, so this is just purely keep it stable. The box is very stable. I like that. Now, let's get to the uncomfortable truth of the situation. The AIM1 Shigure cost me about $200. This does not apply to most people. I got exponentially fucked over due to the current U.S. government. I'm based in the U.S. right now. Would I recommend buying this mouse in the U.S.? Only if you are very, very, very confident, specifically in liking the ZA hump, but you don't like the angle at which it slopes back, and if you like micro adjustments like on the OP1. Only situation I'd recommend it in. Otherwise, here's the issue. As it stands right now, the mouse by itself costs about $104, 14,990 yen. Sometimes it'll be more or less expensive. DHL shipping from that mouse company is about $34. In most of the US, I tried different area codes just to see if it's different because I have some friends in like New York and LA. 34 all around the US. It's international express shipping. Okay, 135 bucks, good deal. This is actually worth it. But tariffs. There's a 25% tariff in the current administration in 2025. I don't know how long this will last. Who knows? Maybe in 2 days the tariff is gone. I don't know. I'm unlucky. I bought this right when the tariff came live, so I end up having to pay a 25% tariff, which by itself will be like 30 bucks, which I don't really care about. Or it'll be 25, but or $26 specifically. But then you have to pay an extra 20% processing fee for the tariff. So in tariffs, you actually pay 45%, which was $65 on top of the $138 I paid for the mouse originally, which puts it right about $200. So it's about the same price as the final mouse. It is about 10 grams heavier. It has a older sensor. It does go up to 8K polling rate, and frankly, the sensor doesn't really matter. So would I say for the actual shape, it's worth it? Yes. But for the actual quality, like this plastic, once again, this is the company's first mouse. They don't have an American or English-speaking customer service / store line. So until they have that, I would not recommend it because sending this back for warranty or RMA is going to be a pain simply due to the language barrier. I have not found a single American who uses this mouse. I've seen a Saudi Arabian, and only Japanese people use this mouse. There's probably someone else in APAC uses this mouse, but in the U.S., I might be one of the only like 10 people who use it, and probably the only one on social media posting about it. This is a great mouse, but right now in the current state of the world, I recommend against buying it if you live in the U.S. But anywhere else in the world, I highly recommend this mouse. The shape feels great. It doesn't hurt. The dimensions are great. The clicks feel great. The mouse quality is great. The weight is very usable. Like, I like sub 50. Hell, I like sub 45-gram mice. But this mouse doesn't feel heavy. Like, it really doesn't. This is a 39-gram mouse. I was using HitScan Hyperlight, also 39 grams. I used a file mouse 35. And this 45-gram mouse doesn't feel that different, and frankly, it feels fine. Like, it's gonna perform about the same. So without further comments or further concerns, what I can say is this is a good mouse to cop. It comes in white or black, and honestly, AIM1, if you see this video, please send me the $65 for the tariffs. I'm begging you. I did not expect to get hit with 65. I only expected to get hit with 30. No, but on a real note, AIM1, this is great shit. If you need help from an esports guy to test future mice or review them, please, please, please reach out to me. Like, this is so impressive to me for a company's first mouse. It reminds me of HitScan Hyperlight. Like, HitScan Hyperlight made a quality product, a very, very quality product as their first mouse. Same thing. Quality product is their first mouse. And these guys make gaming mouse pads and controller sticks. Like, I don't know how the fuck that works. But whatever they did with, whatever magic they did with this, it is great. So, yeah. No, I seal approval. If you want a good TAC FPS hump mouse that fits nicely into the palm without causing pain, like a fairly shaped... Okay, if you want a fairly safe ZA13, get this instead of a ZA13. If you don't live in the US, it'll also probably be cheaper for you. So, there you go. All I have to say, very easy. Good quality mouse. That's it. So, it finally came time. I've been using this mouse for quite a while now. I think probably for a month now. I would have to check, but at least 2 weeks. I have a lot of time on this mouse. What I can say now that I actually have that time is there are 2 or 3 main issues I have with the mouse. One, there are no good aftermarket full skates, so they're dot skates. Currently I'm using Ghost Glide Cyclones because they came with this pad, and I'm basically experimenting with them. But normally I would use Obsidians because I play on glass. Obviously there's Tiger Ice, there are X-Ray Pad Jades, there are plenty of dot options. My main thing is I absolutely fucking hate dot skates. I like when it's full skates. Nobody has made full skates for this mouse yet, which has nothing to do with the actual quality of the mouse or whether or not you should get it, because the only reason that there are no full-size aftermarket skates is because it's such an unpopular slash, like, unknown of mouse. So as soon as the mouse obviously gains popularity, or if it does, there will be aftermarket, skates. I even looked at AliExpress. There's none. There's just nothing. It's a Japanese mouse. It's hard to get. The second thing is I wish that it was lighter. It's 47 grams. It's not heavy by any means, but I'm so used to sub 40-gram mice Like Sora V2, 39 grams. Hitscan Hyperlight, 39 grams. ULX Medium, about 35 or 37 grams. If I got a large, it'd be still under 40. This is 47 grams. It's not bad by any means. Anyone who tells you it's a heavy mouse is out of their mind. I just think lighter is better, and would I have preferred if this mouse was lighter? Absolutely. For me, into 30s is a nice range, personally. So, that's just my personal preference. So, that's just a personal thing. Now, finally, the one thing that I do actually think has a bit of objective reason behind it is the sensor position. So, if you look, the sensor is seated a little bit in the middle of the mouse. It's about 54 or 53% forward facing when it comes to ELO shapes. So 50% is right in the middle of the mouse. It's about 3% forward. The reason I don't like this is you tend to aim on the micro adjustments with your fingertips and wrist. That means it'll go to side less than if it's forward and it gets more range of motion. What this leads to is it forces you to utilize more arm or play a higher sense, and it doesn't really allow you to feel control to the max. So those only three complaints I have. The only one that's actually substantiated on anything, in my opinion, is the sensor position. But I also know some people do prefer a further back sensor position for whatever reason. Now, what I do love is the side buttons. So, the thing with the side buttons, if... Hold on. It's so bright. There you go. So... Oh man, I don't know if you guys can see this. So the thing with the side buttons is the bottom portion of it actually goes into the mouse. So the bottom part of the side buttons that you can click is level to the actual outside shell of the mouse. What that means is you can rest your thumb on the bottom of the mouse buttons without activating them, even if you squeeze, simply because that part is in. But if you angle your thumb and force like an actuation, it'll work even at the bottom. But you can't accidentally activate it. The nice thing about this that I think G-Wolves, especially G-Wolves and companies akin to G-Wolves, should take into account with that is it gives you more room for extraordinarily large thumbs. I used to use an HTX 4K. I haven't used it in a while. I tried picking it up again, and I couldn't really get the hang of it because I kept accidentally pressing the side buttons. My thumb got bigger, I guess, since I was 15 or 16. So, with this shape, you know, my thumb either way fits perfectly fine there. I don't go near the side buttons. But for anyone who has large hands, it's a absolute ease to use it, and you don't have to worry about the side buttons because of how they're shaped. I think if the HTX did that, it'd be easier for me to go back to it and use it. Final mouse, same thing. A lot of people who get a smaller size but have large thumbs will accidentally press the side buttons. With this mouse, it's just not an issue. It's non-existent. So that's a really good feature. I really like the general shape. I mean, it feels great. And honestly, I can even sort of like fingerprint it a little bit. Like I can micro adjust by straightening out my fingers. And then I can quickly switch to a very like strong claw grip. It's very versatile. So I think from my experience, it's a great shape for every grip. I mean, I can fingertip it by just pressing the top of the buttons, which is pretty easy to press nonetheless. And you know, I can still reach the side buttons if I want to. Like, for aim training, I can fingertip it if I want. I can palm it easily. I can claw it easily. It's a great shape. It's surprisingly safe. The only thing that's not safe about it is the specific hump being towards the middle and being so tall, right? So, that's the main concern of it. But genuinely, when it comes to quality of the build, when it comes to the performance, when it comes to weight, it's great. The only performance issue is a slightly outdated sensor. I think a 3950 could possibly help with glass becoming a bit more popular, especially if this is going to become a staple for Apex. Second, the battery life, kind of bad. It's not terrible, but if you use 2K polling rate, it lasts you a day. If you use 1K polling rate, it lasts like 3 days. I've literally been using 1K because I just don't feel like charging it after every session. My only issue with it, quite literally just the battery life, which nonetheless, if I was playing competitive Siege still, I'd totally be using the 2K polling rate anyway, and I still do on some sessions. The implementation is great. Now, did I do a latency test? No, but I'll tell you what, you can't notice a latency issue. On Zowie, I can notice the latency. I can notice the clicks lagging behind. It's like half a second, but I can notice it. With this, you can't notice it. So obviously the latency is fine. The scroll wheel is great. It's easy to charge. I like that the cable has like a little like thing where it hangs up when you're charging it, so it doesn't like drag as much. That's cool. Nice for when I'm charging it and playing like a simulator game. I have no complaints. This is my new main. I mean, the only thing is I might temporarily switch to the final mouse just to test Obsidians on this mouse pad, but other than that, yeah, this is my main mouse. It's fucking great. There's nothing else to say. Wow. Like I've been buying and selling so many mice searching for a main mouse. This is it. It's great for the finals. It's great for up and down movements, Marvel Rivals, whatever. I don't play Overwatch anymore. Siege, anything, any game. This does the trick. I mean, it makes it. You can do anything with it. It's fascinating. Great mouse. So, my final review of that is, if you want to get probably the most stable claw grip mouse, and you like the stability of the ZA, but the shape still somewhat hurt your hand, or let's say you like the ZA13, but you want a lighter version, you want a more optimized version, a more humanized, I guess, version, you probably would enjoy this. If you play TAC FPS and you just don't know what mouse to get, and your budget is like 165, I guess, with tariffs. Wait, just wait until tariffs are gone, or wait until it's on Amazon. Yeah, this is it. It's simple, great, effective mouse. Nothing else to say. Highly recommend it, and that's it for the review, man. Hope you enjoyed. I hope this review has shed some light. I know the format of the review is pretty bad. I know I'm not a real reviewer, but sometimes you get a piece of equipment so incredibly fucking good that you don't see anybody talking about, and you feel like you absolutely have to let the world know. This is one of these pieces of equipment. There are no English reviews on this when I started recording this. So, for the love of God, just fucking get this mouse, please. That's it. And make this popular. I want aftermarket skates on it. Come on. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video, whatever it may be.